Okay, this question 3 is about the evaporation of alcohols. And the first question is asking us to state two variables the student needs to control to make sure her results are valid. So we need to think about what factors will affect how quickly the alcohol evaporates. The first thing to consider is the amount of alcohol is obviously important for how quickly it evaporates. So the student needs to keep the same volume or amount of alcohol for each experiment. And secondly, the second factor would be the heat of this water. So the temperature of that needs to stay the same as well. So secondly, temperature of the water needs to be the same. So there are the two things to keep the same. Now we think about why they're doing it over hot water and not using a Bunsen burner. Well, a Bunsen burner has an open flame, and alcohols are in fact very flammable, so that would be why that is dangerous, because alcohols are very flammable or catch fire easily. Okay, moving on. So I'm going to calculate the mean or average time for the butanol to evaporate. So this row here. Now if we look at these, we've got a value of 64, 63, 90 and 60, and we should be able to identify that 90 here is an anomalous result. So that means that we do not include it in any calculation of a mean or an average. So we ignore that one and we just use the values of 64 plus 63 plus 60. And now there's three values, so we divide that by 3. And that gives us an average of 62.3. So now we're going to explain how these results show which alcohol evaporates most easily. So if we look at the results, we can see that the methanol evaporates the most easily. So the methanol evaporates the most easily. And we know this because it takes the shortest average time for a certain volume to evaporate. Moving on to the last question. So state relationship between the number of carbon atoms in the molecule and how easily the alcohol evaporates. So let's go up to the table and we need to identify how many carbon atoms are in each of these alcohols, and we can use the formula. So we can see in methanol we've got 1 carbon, in ethanol there are 2, propanol 3, and butanol 4. Now we match that with the mean times. We can see that as we go from methanol to butanol, as the number of carbons increases, the time taken for the alcohol to evaporate also increases. So we would say as the length of carbon chain increases, the number of carbon atoms increases, it becomes more difficult for the alcohol to evaporate.